Vidyarthi Bhavan is not just the dosa and the other tiffin thindi. It's the emotions that are kindled within these walls over the last 77 years.
By the time the chutney comes, your mouth is watering.
Correct.
Okay? And the moment the chutney is put, you put your hand. When you touch the dosa, the crispness, that buttery feel of the dosa makes you immediately grab a bite. So, kannige hita.
Correct.
Nasikake gama.
Gama, gama, gama.
Naligege ruchi. And satisfaction for the soul.
And now for the poori. The pleasure in that whiff of steam escape.
Yes. Kudibeku, kudibeku, Vidyarthi Bhavanada coffee. You have layered your stomach with idli, with vada, with khara, with kesari, poori, with dosa. On the top of that, one little bit of coffee.
And also that coffee, top andre is very close to the heart.
Yeah.
So it also Hrudayage tripti agate in Nalli.
Exactly.
Closest to the heart.
Yes.
Namaskara folks, this is kripal, amanna, Gourmet on the Road and you're watching Food Lovers TV. Today we are in Gandhi Bazaar in Basavanagudi and we have a very special guest with us. The one and only Sihi Kahi Chandru Sir.
Hello.
Namaskara sir, namaskara.
Namaskara. How are you? Welcome to Gandhi Bazaar.
Thank you very much sir. There is an interesting story as to why we are here today.
That's very important.
That's very important.
Yeah.
So this weekend I went to Chaudaya to watch a play. And the play was on Vidyarthi Bhavana.
And the play was called Vidyarthi Bhavan also.
The play was called Vidyarthi Bhavana as well. And guess who was playing the role of the iconic Vidyarthi Bhavana dosae?
Nachis.
Well, none other than Sihi Kahi Chandru sir. Norta, watching him emote, watching him relate, narrate the travails of the dosa and what it takes for it to get that perfect crispness when it reaches that customer. Finally, neer bantu.
Exactly. Me playing that role regularly for almost a month, rehearsals and then the show. On the stage, I felt like eating a dosa.
On the stage. In fact, Norta, after 90 minutes of the play, how the time passed, I don't even realize. But after that 90 minutes, I went backstage, not just to meet Sihi Kahi Chandru sir, but who was playing the role of the dosa, but to also see if there was some dosa
to eat.
Sadly, there was none. So, now program madideve.
Yeah, we decided to meet up in Gandhi Bazaar, come to Vidyarthi Bhavan and fill ourselves with Vidyarthi Bhavan dosa.
Absolutely. So, that's what brings us to Vidyarthi Bhavan. Hogana, sir?
Yes.
Dosa batting madana.
Dosa batting.
Fantastic.
Yes. I've been coming here since maybe 40 years, 45 years. But every time I come to Vidyarthi Bhavan, this is a constant scene that you see. There are always people waiting for dosa.
What, according to you, makes it so popular even today?
See, here in Vidyarthi Bhavan, the dosa is very special because one, the crispness of the dosa. I have not seen any dosa as crisp as this, and lot of buttery flavor. Basically, the whole aroma of the dosa is somehow emanating in the whole hotel. So the moment you go inside, you become, very hungry to eat that dosa. And the texture, the size, the chutney, the palya, everything has been constantly maintained for so many years. It has not changed.
Barta, you smell the aroma of the flowers.
Yes.
Adu flowers is sugandha. Mate olige hoidre.
Dosa sugandha.
Dosa sugandha. So it basically plays on all your senses.
Yeah, yes. Like I always say,
ಗುರು ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ನಮ್ದು. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
I always say you should first eat with your eyes.
Correct.
Okay? Now just look at the experience you have in Vidyarthi Bhavan. First you see, everybody sitting and gobbling food, and then you see one server with a long, stack of dosas, and those dosas are evenly colored.
Yes.
You don't find difference in the color, okay? And as he's carrying it, the aroma comes. So first your eyes eat that dosa. It comes in front of you. The plate is kept in front of you. Your eyes gobble it actually. By the time the chutney comes, your mouth is watering.
Correct.
Okay? And the moment the chutney is put, you put your hand. When you touch the dosa, the crispness, that buttery feel of the dosa makes you immediately grab a bite. As you are bringing it to your mouth, the aroma of the butter, the aroma of the dosa, so your nose eats it before your mouth eats it.
Correct.
Okay? And then you swallow. Then you put it in your mouth. Then the tongue eats. So ಕಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಹಿತ,
ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್.
ನಾಸಿಕಕ್ಕೆ ಘಮ, ನಾಲಿಗೆಗೆ ರುಚಿ, the taste for the tongue and satisfaction for the soul.
Absolutely.
That is Bombat bhojana.
That is Bombat bhojana. ಸರ್, ಇದು ನಿಮ್ದು ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಷನ್ ಕೇಳಿ ನನಗೆ ಅನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನಾನು ದೋಸೆ ತಿಂದೆ. Let's go back.
No. I feel like eating more dosa. Come on.
Let's go in and eat one more dosa. This was a virtual dosa. Now we'll go and eat the real dosa. ಹೋಗೋಣ ಬನ್ನಿ ಸರ್. ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ದೋಸೆ ಸರ್.
Yes, people wait patiently to get their dosa.
That's right.
And invariably they have to wait. There's no chance of you getting a dosa immediately.
Like they say, all good things come to those who wait.
Exactly. See the aroma of dosa. You just feel hungry when you come inside.
Hungry, you made me even more.
Before the dosa comes, we have to eat the other things that are available here. So let us start with idli, vada, poori, and then go for dosa.
Sihi Kahi Chandru sir, full batting ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅದೇ ಉದ್ದೇಶದಿಂದ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ.
ಒಂದು ಇಡ್ಲಿ ಸಾಂಬಾರ್ 2 ಪ್ಲೇಟ್, ಒಂದು ವಡೆ ಚಟ್ನಿ 2 ಪ್ಲೇಟ್, ಬೇರೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಪೂರಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ 2 ದೋಸೆ.
ಹಲೋ ಅರುಣ್. ಓ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಬನ್ನಿ ಕುತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. We watched your play the other day, the Vidyarthi Bhavan play, watching the dosa. So today we have brought the dosa to taste the dosa.
The dosa is going to eat the dosa. Anyway, I should thank Arun for giving me a wonderful opportunity to perform in a wonderful play called Vidyarthi Bhavan. I am really lucky that I landed up with that role, and by God's grace, the whole team put their effort and dedicatedly, and the play became a big success.
And sir, I tell you, I sat there 90 minutes. How that 90 minutes went, I didn't even realize. And the manner in which that play captured the emotion of Vidyarthi Bhavan, of the people at Vidyarthi Bhavan. I think Vidyarthi Bhavan is not just the dosa and the other tiffin thindi. It's the emotions that are kindled within these walls over the last 77 years.
Yes.
You can savor a dosa, you can describe a dosa, but to capture those emotions and bring it in front of the world, I think that is commendable.
I should really thank a couple of people here which made it possible. First and foremost is the writer, Rajendra Karan. He has done an excellent job in bringing all the bits and pieces of stories together and weaving it to a beautiful script. And then the director Arjun Kabina, who made it possible to bring it on stage, whatever Rajendra Karan has written on script. And all the artists, be it the senior artists like Sihi Kahi Chandru sir, who portrayed the dosa part as you saw, and all other artists, entire artists, whether they have a small role or a big role.
The music was beautiful, the lighting was beautiful, The costumes were very authentic, you know. Everything fell in place. And of course, we had a wonderful audience. Because all the 4 shows, I found the audience were responding for every dialogue so beautifully. So beautifully. Yes, boss. Here comes our idli.
And now what's going to happen is some serious batting.
I don't want to disturb you guys. Please
Thank
enjoy
you.
your food.
Thank you very much, Arun.
Thank you, Arun. Thank you.
Thank you. Today we're going to experience Vidyarthi Bhavan through Sihi Kahi Chandru Sir's perspective.
Oh my God.
We have been here twice already and you've seen those episodes, but I'm sure this episode will bring something entirely different, uniquely different, bombatly different.
Bombatly different. You will have eaten sambar in various places, but this sambar is entirely different. I am eating sambar here since 45 years, from when I started coming as a child. The taste has not changed one bit. It's just the same. You feel that age-old flavors. You just sip it like that. The right amount of tanginess, the right amount of sweet, the right amount of spice, the right amount of flavors.
ಮತ್ತೆ ಬೇರೆ ಅದು ಕೋಕೋನಟ್ ಇದು ಗರಿ ಗರಿ
ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ ಕೋಕೋನಟ್.
You know, also what I like here is the fact that the sweetness is there, but the sweetness balanced is there.
ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ಡ್.
ಅಂದರೆ ಅದು ಟೊಮೆಟೊದು ಸಾರ್ನೆಸ್ ದಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಸ್ವೀಟ್ ಟೊಮೆಟೊ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಖಾರ ಇದೆ ಬಟ್ ಅದ ಇದೆ.
ಅದು ಅಷ್ಟು ಬೇಕು.
And I'm sure it's a ಬ್ಯಾಡಗಿ ಮೆಣಸಿನಕಾಯಿ ಅಲ್ಲ?
ಬ್ಯಾಡಗಿ and Guntur. Color is because of ಬ್ಯಾಡಗಿ.
ಬ್ಯಾಡಗಿ.
The spiciness is because of Guntur. They've used both the chilies. The idli is very granular.
Yeah.
You can find air pockets. This, what happens is when you dip it in the sambar, you can find the idli swallows the sambar.
Correct.
It just melts
away. I'm going to take a leaf from Sihi Kahi Chandru Sir's booklet and drown the idli in the sambar.
Just leave it 2 minutes, it will swallow everything.
Sir, 2 minutes ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟರೆ ಕುಡಿಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಇಡ್ಲಿ ಫುಲ್ ಕರಗಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. Also, of course, this is an idli where they use the akki tari, as opposed to, let's say, the ground
rice. Yes.
So adikoskara, it's also very particular in its texture.
Yeah. The usage of akki tari is very typical to Bangalore. You go outside, they grind the rice. You go to Tamil Nadu, the idli is where the rice is ground.
Correct. Tamil Nadu idli ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ನೆಸ್ ಇದೆ ಕೂಡ ಪೇಸ್ಟಿನೆಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಪೇಸ್ಟಿ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಸಾಂಬಾರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಾರ್ನೆಸ್ ಇತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಈಗ ಕಂಬೈನ್ಡ್ ವಿತ್ ದಟ್ ಇಡ್ಲಿ, ದಟ್ ಸಾರ್ನೆಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಗಾನ್ ಅಪ್ ಅ ಕಪಲ್ ಆಫ್ ನಾಚಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ?
Exactly. Because the fermentation of the batter.
And I think that's where that chutney with all that ogarne or the saswe will help to add a bit of the spicy kick. I believe one thing, sir. A good vade ನೋಡಬೇಕು, ಫೀಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಕೇಳಬೇಕು. ವಡೆ ಆಯಿಲ್ ತೆಗೆದ ಮೇಲೆ those little particles are still moving.
Yeah.
If you pay attention, as soon as that vade comes to you, you can actually hear a bit of that crackle, that whisper of that crackle. And that's when you know that's a perfect udana vade.
See, you take a spoon and just scrape it like that. You should get that sound.
That's a perfect vade. Fantastic. After that initial crispness of that vade quite literally yields to the slightest of pressure. There's some coconut in there, some coriander.
Yeah. And when you eat the vada, the flavor of that urud dal should be there.
Correct.
So that feel you should get. Because it's Uddina vade,
correct.
If you don't get the flavor of uddu or urud dal, then what's the point of eating that vada?
That's right.
That urud dal flavor comes when it is nicely, crispily fried. The crispness of that vada gives you that urud dal flavor.
And a good vade will be 100% urad dal.
Yeah.
Without any cutlet, nothing.
No, nothing.
you make about 7-8 dishes every day on your show.
Yeah.
Right? When I met you, I met him at a shoot. In fact, if you haven't caught that episode where Sihi Kahi Chandru Sir invited me to be a guest on his Bombat Bhojana show, you should definitely look out for that episode. I will place a link in the description.
I made Dilruba dosa for him.
Dilruba dosae. Fantastic. That was certainly a dosae that stole my heart. You should definitely watch that episode to know more about that dosae and how that dosae came into being, because you can also make that recipe, that Dilruba dosae
Yes,
at
it's
home.
instant.
You make about 7-8 dishes every day when you're shooting. So when you go to a place, I'm merely reviewing. I don't cook as much as you do. Do you find yourself constantly analyzing the food?
I always analyze the food. Whenever I eat something, my mind first starts thinking how they have made it. So what are ingredients has gone into it. So if I like the dish very much, I immediately ask the person who has cooked it, what all he has used, how he has prepared, and I understand and visualize how it happened, and then I cook it myself.
You cook it yourself.
Yeah. And there are instances when I have spoken to somebody over the phone and they have told me about a dish, and I've asked them to explain how the dish is. So I imagine the dish and cook it.
Using your imagination alone of what that finished dish would be like.
Yeah, and I cooked it.
How many recipes do you cook every year?
I have done my cookery show for about 1,700 episodes till now.
1,700 recipes.
Easy.
Wow.
And I have not repeated any recipe.
So your mind needs to constantly be working,
Constantly improvise.
constantly improvise.
On whatever
Draw
I
inspiration.
Yes. Whatever I see, I read, I eat, it just keeps on happening. And suddenly when I'm walking in the road, I see some vegetable, I feel a new dish evolving in my mind the moment I see that vegetable.
So you don't see the vegetable, but you see the dish. Correct. So you're already visualizing what that vegetable has become. Fantastic.
You get that urut feel and the ginger in the vada.
Yeah.
They have put slightly, chopped ginger in the vada. Now and then you get one ginger.
Yeah.
And that adds to the beautiful taste of the vada. Vada is something I eat throughout the day.
Absolutely. ನನಗೆ ನೀವು ಟಿಫಿನಿಗೆ ಹೋದರೆ people order only the idli. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. To me, the partner has to be the vada.
Yes.
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ incomplete ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ನನಗೆ.
ಮನೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ when they make idlis, they don't make the vadas. So you cannot consume more idli.
Correct.
So what I do is, I go to a hotel, buy vadas and come.
So ಮನೆದು ಇಡ್ಲಿ ಹೊರಗೆದು ವಡೆ. Fantastic. There's some flecks of coconut in that, also some green chili. What I also like is that the coconut has toasted in that oil, so it's no longer pristine white, but also perhaps has a bit of a toasty flavor to it. You want to dip that vade in that sambar, allow it to almost luxuriate spa-like. Now it has drunk so much sambar that it's refusing to leave that sambar bath.
The Tamil Nadu way of eating vada, which I have observed whenever I have been to Tamil Nadu, is you cut a piece of vada,
Dunk it into the sambar.
Then you eat this vada with the chutney.
So that's very interesting. You know, in Tamil Nadu, they have a dish called the vada curry. So that becomes a vada curry of sort. And then you also enjoy the vada and the chutney.
Now, by the time you eat this half with the chutney, this vada has become totally soaked in the sambar. Now, it has become a drunkard. It is yeah, it is fully tight. And then you eat this.
Sambar kurdide. There's a certain joy, when you look around and you watch people enjoying.
You see everybody eating dosa. And the best part is, if you observe, every dosa is the same color. There's not one which is roasted less or roasted more, nothing like that. It's all the same color. And the method of serving They give a dosa in a plate and then pour the chutney.
Correct.
That pouring of chutney, is something that only happens here. And by the time you come to the end of the dosa has, soaked the chutney so beautifully. The last portion of the dosa is always very tasty.
Yeah. It has soaked up all the goodness.
Yes.
And now for the puri. The pleasure in that whiff of steam escape.
Yes. It is made only out of wheat flour. There's no maida in it. They always give you a bloated puri. You never find a flat puri here.
Correct.
They give you a sagu, which I have been eating from ages, and it tastes the same. Exactly the same. No change. I am not able to break this recipe.
Yeah.
I have tried all kinds of combination. I cannot get this taste.
So there's some lentils that you can see right on top.
Yeah. It is chana dal.
Chana dal.
There's a tinge of pudina.
The sagu also goes into the masala dosa.
Yeah, you take a sagu masala. The same sagu goes, but the sagu is not as watery as this.
It's thickened a bit.
It's thickened a bit.
So the ಗೋಡಂಬಿ ಕೂಡ ಇದೆ. So the base is really potato onions.
Yeah.
But it's a sagu that's very mellow. It doesn't scream
Yeah.
in loud flavors to your palate.
Not pungent.
Not punchy in that sense. So when you're tasting something like a puri sagu, you want a bite that's comforting. And that's what this does. It basically does well to be scooped up in the fluffy puffiness of that puri. And if you want a bit of flavor punch, I think that's where that chutney
Yeah.
comes into play.
See, generally how you should do it is put a little bit of sagu here, put a little bit of chutney over that,
And then go for it.
and then dig into it.
When you talk about breakfast items, is there a certain breakfast that you are predisposed to? What is your most favorite breakfast? South
Akki
Indian.
roti.
Akki roti, ah.
Akki roti with all onion and then chilies, coriander, coconut, everything they
Fully
put
loaded.
Fully loaded akki roti. I eat that 24 hours a day.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. You give me a akki roti, you give me idli, etc., etc., etc. I will eat the akki roti.
What I like also is when the puri nali, when you fry wheat, there's a certain aroma.
Ah, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Hard to describe, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, you just eat this.
The
This
crust.
one, you get that. You get that.
That is very comforting.
Very comforting.
Huh? See, at the end of the day, I think when you talk about dishes like these are largely comfort food. You've had a bad day, bad morning, or bad day at work, you come here and then you tuck into a puri or you tuck into the dosae. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ದು ಚಿಂತೆಗಳು,
Yes, it
all
goes.
your worries melt away.
Vanishes.
Vanish. And then if you look at all these iconic places that have been around for a long time, they do simple food, sir.
Very simple.
They do simple food, but they do it consistently well. So I think beyond the food, which is also what your play was about, is that emotion, right? You dosa tinnalla, you're basically relishing that memory that perhaps takes you back to when your father brought you here and he said, Maga dosa tinnu.
Exactly. When my grandfather brought me here for the first time, when I was 12 years old, every Sunday, invariably, me and my grandfather would catch a bus and come to Gandhi Bazaar, eat Vidyarthi Bhavan dosa and go back. It was a half a day program for us.
So when you come here now and you eat that dosa, can you visualize you and your grandfather?
Yes.
You probably holding your grandfather's hand?
Yes. I can remember so many things that happened when my grandfather used to bring me here.
How wonderful is that?
Ah,
How wonderful is that? And I think on that note, we should probably head to the
dosa.
Vidyarthi Bhavan masala dosa.
Before dosa comes, you can taste our khara and kesari.
This is a pineapple kesari one.
Correct. I can see the cloves.
Each bite has got pineapple flavor.
Ah.
and when you're biting, you get a piece of pineapple.
You know, a good kesari bath is a few ingredients. Rave, loads of tuppa,
Yes.
ಮತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ದು ಕಿಶ್ಮಿಶ್ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಗೋಡಂಬಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, the cloves go in, and like Sihi Kahi Chandru sir first registered that pineapple. But it's the manner in which they come together, Allah.
This is also made of rava. This is also made of rava.
Correct.
Just observe the texture of it. This is so different from the texture of this.
Correct.
This is glistening with ghee. It says, "Come on, eat me. Why are you delaying?
Speaking-
Dig into me." It is saying that to me.
Speaking for the tuppa.
Just melts.
Just place it in your mouth. Place it in your mouth, and the warmth of your mouth. Quite literally, karagi ho gate, sir.
Yes, it just melts.
Once that kesari bath with all that ghee goodness slithers down your throat, then it leaves behind some of the other stars of that ensemble. That slight jammy stickiness of the raisin, you got that sweet acidity of the pineapple, and if you have a clove that comes to your bite, the essential oils, the astringency that the clove releases.
Amazing.
Comfort food done exceptionally well. I came here last, I think about a year ago, and to be honest, my memory of the khara bath is not very vivid. Is it the same one?
No.
This is the masala khara bath.
Masala khara bath.
Available in the mornings and afternoons.
ನಾನು ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ ಬಂದದ್ದು
Evening it is white uppittu.
ಉಪ್ಪಿಟ್ಟು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಇದು ಕೆಂಪು ಬಣ್ಣ ಹೇಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ?
This is because of the powder.
Powder we make. It's like a wangibath powder.
ಓ ವಾಂಗಿಬಾತ್ ಪೌಡರ್.
We prepare here only and then mix it.
The
White
uppittu is shy. It almost weighs a whale.
Yeah.
It refuses to reveal itself completely. But this one,
Flamboyant.
dawn ತರ ಇದೆ ಸರ್. ದೋಸೆ ಬೇಕಾ?
Flamboyant.
Pass to
Madal
me first.
nanan tinno. And this has got a lot of veggies.
And what I also like is the crunch of the onions, sir, in this.
Yes.
Huh?
The dosa has come.
Oh, we cannot keep the dosa waiting.
No.
Fantastic. The chutney is poured, now we can enjoy.
Now, how to eat a dosa?
How to eat a dosa?
Oh yeah. Now when you bite into the dosa, you should always bite into the place where the palya is.
He's a man after my heart.
Okay.
Because that's exactly the way we do it.
Have a bite with the palya, dip it in the chutney, and when you eat, no.
I gotta get to that crackle. That
Look at
crackle of that dosa.
With the palya.
With the palya. And I think what's very interesting is that just before they fold the dosa, there's a dollop of butter that is placed on top.
Yeah.
The soft creaminess. That palya is almost become the texture of thick cream.
Exactly. The aloo is boiled so
Boiled beautifully, it's mashed beautifully,
yeah.
and it's also seasoned so delicately. So there's a bit of the saswe, and of course, because that dollop of butter is right there, you can taste its dairy richness. But it's a palya that is very gentle in the manner it whispers to you. But what I was coming to, I learned this dosa spends exactly 7 minutes on the pan.
Exactly.
And the palya goes on top, and then the butter, and then they fold it. But even to fold, you have to fold it at the right time when that dosa is malleable. Ivaga new, for example, if you open it, it will crack. So it tells you of the skill of that dosa maker.
Everybody makes dosas everywhere in Bangalore. They are very thin like this. When it is thin, it becomes crispy easily.
Yeah.
But this dosa, you can find the edges are thick, slightly
Correct,
thick,
correct.
and with lot of holes.
Correct.
But the outside layer is very crispy throughout.
Yeah.
This is the greatness of this dosa.
ಅಂದರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್, ಅದು ತಿನ್ನುವಾಗ ಬೋರ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕ್ರಂಚ್, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮೆದು ಇದೆ.
When you eat Vidyarthi Bhavan dosa, You hear an orchestra in your mouth.
Correct.
Just close your eyes and eat. You will find music. You will find one beautiful orchestration.
A good dosa is one that regales you, that entertains you, right? It's not just about the flavors. So, for example, that slight toastiness that you taste in that dosa, a bit of that dairy, butter richness, and then that mellow flavors of the palya. You get a bit of the sasve once in a while, the savouriness of the niruli, and all that comes together in a range of textures, right? And I think that's what makes that dosa engaging. ये चटनी जो होता है,
This is what makes this dosa so great.
the mint in the chutney, quite aromatic.
Oh my God. This butter escalates the flavor to a
Yeah.
different level.
So many a times people say ಮುಂಚೆ ತರ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸಹ ಕೇಳಿರ್ಬೋದು.
Yeah.
I'm talking about generally when it comes to iconic places. ಮುಂಚೆ ತರ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಮುಂಚೆ ತರ ಇಲ್ಲ. So what do you have to say to that, sir?
Years have passed. Our agriculture techniques have changed.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, as the agricultural techniques change, the produce also changes in quality. Okay.
100%.
You can't expect Badgi Minsinka of today to be the same what it was 70 years ago.
Absolutely.
Because today technology has increased. The way the fertilizers have changed. So many changes have happened. With all the changes, how much you have been able to maintain your quality is what counts.
Yeah.
So there might be some small fluctuations. By and large, the taste is the same.
Yeah. And I think you make a very valid point. I think when we go to an eatery, we forget the fact that these eateries, especially age-old eateries, too have to buy what's available.
Yeah.
Right? So, for example, the quality of milk has changed because what that cow is feeding on in terms of its pasture
Exactly.
has changed entirely. So, how do you expect the milk that comes out of the cow and therefore the cream and therefore the butter to be the same?
It will be the same as what it was 70 years ago.
But I think what happens, sir, is that we make those allowances at home. So ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅಮ್ಮ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಏನು ಪದಾರ್ಥ then make a particular dish. ಅಮ್ಮರೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ಥರ ಇಲ್ಲ ಮಗ, ಮುಂಚೆ ಅದು ಹಾಲೇ ಬೇರೆ ಇತ್ತು. Now that allowance ಮನೇಲಿ ನಾವು ಒಪ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇವೆ.
Here you don't because you give money.
You give money. But at the end of the day, I think places like these are providing invaluable service to showcasing a delicious slice of culinary tradition. Now imagine, sir, imagine if we didn't have this. Wouldn't we be poorer?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I can't imagine Gandhi Bazaar without Vidyarthi Bhavan.
That's right.
I really can't imagine. I have eaten dosas everywhere. I have tried to replicate it. I have tried to understand what is the recipe that has gone into it, the proportions that has gone into it. I have tried to replicate. Some places I have succeeded. I have been able to recreate them. Believe me, I have not been able to create a dosa of this texture.
Of this texture.
Maybe today this butter is making a different flavor to the dosa. But the dosa per se, the way it is made, the texture is always the same.
That's right. It's basically, I think, a Vidyarthi Bhavan dosa is thick in concentric rounds of thickness and thinness. And the interesting thing is that whether you're biting into the thick part or the thin part, both are equally crunchy.
Yes.
And yet that thick part also conveys a bit of softness.
Yeah.
Which is what is very interesting. So the components of the batter, typically it's like one part of uddana bele to let's say 3 or 5 parts of rice.
Yeah.
I think they add some red rice and a few other things. So, but I think what's important is the hand that makes it, and I think also there's a certain energy that gets trapped because dosa idli is a lot about fermentation, no sir?
True.
I doubt if perhaps even Arun takes a batter from here and takes it home to make. I don't think same barala.
Baral.
We should ask him, Arun, if you take this batter home and make this dosa, does it come out?
No, I have taken it.
Yeah, you've done it.
Yes. See, that is not only batter. That's also depending on the pan.
Hanchu.
Pan and the heat.
Heat. Because here what happens is the heat distribution is evenly on the rectangular pan what you have. But at home and all, it is gas stove, right? Burner. It is circular. That's why you can see when a dosa is made at home, it is usually you can see brown rings.
Unlike this, which is evenly toasted.
If they do outdoor catering, let us say, they have a flat tawa like this only there, and they take the same batter, the dosa will not be the same.
100%.
It might look the same, but I don't know. The ambience, the energy, everything matters.
Some time ago, when I met them for the first time, and I met his father, Mr. Ramakrishna Adiga, he told me one thing. I asked him, you bere kade branches alle yake ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ? He told me one very simple thing. He says, Taj Mahal ಎಷ್ಟು ಇದೆ? ಒಂದು ತಾಜ್ ಮಹಲ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ನಿಮಗೆ ತಾಜ್ ಮಹಲ್ ನೋಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇದ್ದರೆ ನೀವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು. So if you want to eat this dosa,
You have to come
this
here.
is where you come here. And that is why you've desisted from expanding.
Yes. Basically here, the question is not making more business. At least 80 to 90% of the customers who come here, if they go back satisfied, I think I have achieved it.
I like his approach, Chandru sir. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ 80 to 90%. He's not saying 100% should be satisfied. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ you cannot. ಎಲ್ಲರದ್ದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಬೇರೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಟೇಸ್ಟ್
Exactly.
ಬೇರೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ,
It's a subject.
ಬಾಯಿ ರುಚಿ ಬೇರೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ.
From when I was a child, I used to stay in Rajajinagar. I would come by bus, I would come by walk to eat dosa here. That was a celebration for me. Like, you know, there's something good happens, we have to celebrate, we have a sweet. Our celebration, we need Vidyarthi Bhavan dosa. So I would bring my friends, I would walk, come all the way here to eat this dosa, and I would go back, and that would give me one sense of, you know, happiness. If the same Vidyarthi Bhavan had a branch in Rajajinagar, that whole pleasure would have gone. Today, to eat Vidyarthi Bhavan dosa is a program for a family. You know, the whole family.
It's an event.
It's an event. Today we'll go and have a dosa in Vidyarthi Bhavan. So they come planning for a shopping in Gandhi Bazaar. They want to come to the Ganesha temple to pray. Then come here, have dosa, go buy something, buy vegetables, buy flowers. It's a big event.
Correct.
That we will get, it will lose if they open branches elsewhere.
That's what, that emotion you cannot dilute.
You cannot.
It
You
has to be
cannot.
there.
It
That's
goes-
right. It's not just a dosa, but it's the emotion. And I think we should probably finish our dosa before it gets completely cold.
ಕುಡಿಬೇಕು ಕುಡಿಬೇಕು ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ಭವನದ ಕಾಫಿ.
Oh, that was also there in the play, right? Ah,
Your dosa is never complete if you don't have a coffee.
100%. I agree with you.
Coffee is a wonderful topping, you know, for the, you have layered your stomach with idli, with vada, with khara baat, with kesari baat,
Poori
with
side hai,
dosa,
poori side hai.
poori, with dosa. On the top of that, one little bit of coffee.
And also that coffee, top andre is very close to the heart.
Yeah.
So it also ಹೃದಯಗೆ ತೃಪ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಹೆಣ್ಣಲ್ಲಿ.
Exactly.
Closest to the heart.
Yes. Good
Lovely.
coffee. Good coffee. Anyway, it was great meeting you, and I'm so glad you could make it for the play. You saw the play. I'm so happy that you could do it, because you are an icon. You are a legend when it comes to food and food reviewing. Okay, and your presence in the play, to see the play, was a great thing for us on stage. To see you sitting in the front row and watching us. So I told all my co-actors, you know who has come to see the play? Kripal Amanna. If you don't impress him, it will be a major failure, because he should be impressed with the play as much as he's impressed with Vidyarthi Bhavan dosa.
Sir, you're very kind, and I'm truly humbled when you say something like that. I will speak about the play first. Like I said, I immersed myself in that play completely, thanks to you and all your fellow actors on stage, the director and everything. But sir, the one thing that I always have believed in is your large-heartedness.
Oh my God.
We have all looked at Sihi Kahi Chandru sir over many years now. I think you've been in the industry for decades. but the kind of love that you shower to anybody, even somebody like me who's probably very, very junior when it comes to doing what we do, it touches my heart each time. And there are very few people who have the ability to make someone else feel special. And so you have that. Whoever meets you is touched in a very special way and goes back feeling really good about themselves. So it's an absolute honor, a pleasure and a privilege to not just watch the play, but to also be sitting here and enjoying this Vidyarthi Bhavan breakfast.
Hey, thank you. I really enjoyed even the whole breakfast session that we have today, talking about food, trying to understand the food that we were eating and all that, and trying to understand how you review food, live. This is very important.
I think today I was not in the review mode. I was in the watch mode.
Oh my God.
I was, we all need to seek inspiration. We all need to draw from people, and for me that was this morning. And the privilege to be here with Sihi Kahi Chandru Sir, and of course savor this wonderful Vidyarthi Bhavan breakfast. I'm coming here, I think nearly after a year, so I'm so happy that I came here with you.
Now one basic question to you. You said you have come here after a year. Have you found any change in the taste?
Illa. So the chutney I found slightly less spicy today.
That's all. Otherwise the dosa is the same.
The same dosae.
So there you have your answer. If people say madal tara illa, madlidang illa, you have the answer for yourself.
That's right.
That's it.
So on that note, I hope you enjoyed this very special karyakram of Gourmet On The Road with Sihi Kahi Chandru Sir.
With Vidyarthi Bhavan dosa.
With the Vidyarthi Bhavan dosa.
Because I am in the dosa.
I'm a little slow. Absolutely. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Until the next time, take care, stay safe, stay strong, and happy eating, and
enjoy your life.
Enjoy your life. We all need to. Bye.
Bye.
If you'd like to support the work that we do at Food Lovers TV, do consider joining our membership community on YouTube by hitting the join button below or on the home page. You could pledge a nominal sum and receive special privileges like behind the scenes footage, shoot updates, access to live Q&As, and a lot more. You could support us on our Patreon page as well. For more info, check out the links in the description below. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment below. Happy eating.